The choice is in our hands. It's time for us to live it up. Oh, you'll be my summer love. Let go, trust in me.
What's up, Stella? You want to say hi to everyone? Hello, everybody. Here we go. Best part. Ready?
Oh, you'll be my summer love.
She hates this. All right, go. Be free. Be free. There she goes to be free. Okay. So we will talk about this book now. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. How has your reading been going? How has your how's your week been? My week's been kind of crazy, awesome, but fun. That's a lot. I just moved. I don't know if you guys know that, and I finally unpacked like all of my books. So it feels good to like have them all here. Unfortunately, it's actually not all of my books. It's only some of them because I sell some books in storage somewhere. But I'm gonna read some of your comments about what you guys think. This is a new favorite book. Loving it. This book is so good. Good, crazy, but great week. Awesome. Tessa will not be joining today. She's busy. My reading was slow, unfortunately. One point, I couldn't stop reading. Sick the whole weekend. Oh, I'm sorry. That's awful. My first essay since back to school. Okay, I hope it went well. Boy, so many books. Yes. Was an easy but amazing read. That is what I like to hear. I had some troubles with the reading at first because I was still in that mindset, but it's really interesting. Yes, that mindset meaning The Handmaid's Tale. The book is a slower read. Okay, all right. I'm behind. Very informative. Slow one. Haven't made it to chapter 45. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I made it to page 112. I didn't quite get there. But I want to say this. I originally had planned this book that we would read to part 1. And when I was like picking, I read, like I said, to go a little farther than I originally wanted. So if you read to at least part 1, you're good. Life of Pi. Okay, so I'm going to ask this quick question first, because for this book and this author, I'm going to be doing the talk that I want to give about each author, about kind of just the world of the book, and maybe a couple like interesting facts. It's supposed to be less than 5 minutes, guys. It's so it should only take a few minutes. So we'll talk about first the author. The author is Yann Martel. Here's a picture of him. Piscine Molitor Patel. So, his name was Yann Martel. Well, he's still alive. He was born in 1963. So he's still alive. He's a Canadian author, known best for Life of Pi. He was born in Spain and has lived many places in his life. He lived in India for a while, and I think that's where he got a lot of his inspiration. This book is a fiction. It's not a true story, although he did come into trouble at one point because they said it was plagiarized, and he did admit that it was based on another story called, where is it? Life, Max and His Cats. But people don't know. But that's like one thing. What else? Sorry guys, this one, for those struggling with pronunciation, I highly recommend the audiobook. I've really enjoyed listening to it as well as reading it. Oh, okay. Cool. Life of Pi has a lot of really cool themes. Some of the themes are, oh goodness, I accidentally clicked the test here. the nature of religious belief, why we believe in religion and what it is that drives us to it, and the will to live is another thing we see in the beginning. Towards the end of what we were supposed to read, we saw when the ship crashed and all these animals fighting to survive. And then the importance of storytelling is also a big theme. And you could tell because of this. I mean, one of my favorite lines is like, I have a story that will make you believe in God. So I think, it's a really, really cool thing. I wanted to talk about one more thing also. Because as you guys know, I really always believe in reading the author's notes or the introduction to the book. I loved the introduction. I thought it was cool that he kind of told us the story of how he got this story. But my favorite line in that was when he starts thanking everyone at the end of the introduction. He starts to thank everyone that helped him make this book, a reality. And there's just one line that I want to read. I bet you guys know the one that I want to read. Yes, Rita, you just said it. I'll read it to you guys. If we citizens do not support our artists, then we sacrifice our imagination on the altar of crude reality, and we end up believing in nothing and having worthless dreams. I guess we'll leave it with that. I think that's a beautiful way to end that introduction, and it's a completely valid and amazing quote. I'm sorry I keep yawning. Do you guys ever get those yawn attacks where you just keep yawning? Just wow, right? Okay, so we start off the book. I'm just going to dive right in if that's cool with everyone. I'm not going to lie to you guys. A lot of the times I take a lot of notes, like with Handmaid's Tale, I was underlining a lot, and I was actively trying to see what Margaret Atwood was referencing and what she was really doing. And I think the problem is that going back to the yawning real quick, I think it's that I woke up not recently, but within the last hour and a half, and I haven't really talked to anyone or said anything, so I think all the talking is making me yawn. But back to this. Reading this book for me, I felt as though I was actually sitting in the room and listening to this story. I didn't feel like I was in a place where I could take notes. I need coffee, yeah. I just, whew. But yeah, I didn't feel like I could really take notes. I felt like I was just literally just taking in this story. I felt like I was sitting at a table drinking tea with, listening with the author. I thought it was a really cool. I thought it was a really cool feeling. And the next thing I know, I'm like, oh, I should have underlined that quote, or oh, gosh, I wish I had remembered that page. Because next thing, I'd be like, I want to find this exact line, and then a few minutes down the line, I'm like, oh, I completely forgot what I was looking through. And yeah, Maddie McCall, we're just listening and living his story. I think it's a very engaging thing. I like the way this author writes. I hear distinct voices as well, which I think is cool. I know when it goes into the italics, the writing that looks like this, not like that. I don't know if that helped. But when he goes into the italics, I can hear the author's story. And then when, I hear his voice, and then when reading in the regular print, I do hear Pai Patel's own voice. It's almost like a character. Also, I think, as part of the introduction, I should have mentioned this, Life of Pi was also made into an amazing film, one of which I saw 3 times in theaters. I saw it 3 times, made by Ang Lee. It was nominated for 11 Academy Awards, and it did really well. It was visually stunning, and if you haven't seen it, let's read this book and then go check it out, because it really is an incredible book and an incredible movie. As you can tell, I already see things that are like switched around for the movie though. So if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch it yet. Finish the book and then watch it after, and you'll be super happy. Also, for those asking, I did start Handmaid's Tale. I'm like 4 episodes in. I feel so bad for Offglin. We'll talk about that some other time. Back to this book. Life of Pi was a visual experience in the best way ever. I totally agree. Definitely watch the movie after the book. One question, how far did you read? Because I have a question and don't know if it's a chapter you didn't read. No, I read up until, I'm only like 5 pages away from where I wanted us to read. So you can pretty much talk to me about anything. And also I've seen the movie 3 times. More than that, because I've seen it a couple times on TV. I love the way this author describes animals in the zoo. I feel like I'm there looking at the animal with my own eyes. One thing that I really want to bring into this book that I'm noticing from Pi is his amazing appreciation for life and his appreciation for the small miracles that make up our daily, like the minutia of like our daily interactions with things and people. Like he's able to pick apart the smallest thing and not only see science but see the beauty and almost the creation of it. You know, he's like, oh, someone made this. Like this is definitely God. And I think that's like a super cool thing. Yes. Oh, I love that too. Sorry, the beginning about quotes and animals is amazing. Pi has a deep-seated curiosity that I love and identify with, right? I love when he's being questioned about the following 3 different religions and quotes Gandhi and stops them in their tracks. Such an open-minded viewpoint. Yes. I knew from the movie, and I was wondering how they revealed it in the book, and I love how they revealed Rita's question. Sorry. Okay, so the question, did you get, you know what, Rita, can you save this question for a little bit later? Because I still want to bring in the beginning, how he enters us into these 2 worlds that are seemingly, so Rita, just remember that question for like when we're on before quotes, so like give me like 10 minutes. I love how he enters it telling us that, my academic study saved me because what had happened left me, God, I don't know why I'm yawning, sad and gloomy. And then he kind of brings us, he's like, so I studied 2 things, zoology and religion. And already there, he's pitting against these 2 ideas, like science and the things that can't be explained. And then I love that he uses each to kind of explain the other. Like he says, through science, he studied the 3-toed sloth, and he saw that as like a yogi deep in meditation, someone whose inner life was deep and imaginative, far more important than the dull and kind of boring outer life because of the sloth's senses aren't that great. I thought that was cool, but also he kind of described religion in a very, not analytical way, because he didn't, but he was like, yeah, it's just these beliefs, and I think they can learn a lot from each other. Oh, God. It's like Pi's trying to find balance within himself between the wilderness of life and the certainty of science. That's beautifully said. Wow. I love about the relativity of freedom to zoo animals. The passage about agnostics shook me. I've never understood it that way. Michael, can you tell me what page that passage is on, and I can read it for everyone? The page about agnostics, because I would love to share that with everyone, because that's super cool. The sloth reminded me of Zootopia. Like, yes, that is awesome. What was his name? Flash or whatever? Freedom's not always positive. When Pi talks about teachers, I think about Tuesdays with Maury. It's amazing to have someone who can inspire you to be the better version of yourself. Yes, that is why teachers are so important. I mean, think about the teacher he saw at the zoo who was the first atheist he met. That teacher was able to open his mind in a way. Be like, what? One of the most important things I think about reading, about traveling and exploring and discovering different cultures and different styles and ways of living is the question that we see Pi ask. Like, whoa, there are people that think differently than I do, but with just as much veracity, just as much belief. I think that's fascinating. To quote the movie Nest the Psycho, what do I think about religion? In the movie he says, religion is but a house with many rooms. I don't know if he says that in the book. I'm sorry if I ruined that. But I agree with that idea. Like the passports for the sky, I also agree with that. I thought he was such a smart kid to come back at his mom with that. To be like, well, then shouldn't all passports be valid? And it all makes sense. And I think at the heart of all major religions, there is a teaching that is just a standard line of truth. This idea of love and beauty and understanding and kind of what Pi says, like the seeing and belief in the miracles of life and just being like, wow, it's beautiful. Oh God, the passports in the sky was one of the few things I wrote down. Awesome, right? As a teacher, it's really awesome to see a person from another culture and a way of life explain the appreciation for teachers. I love it. Well, yes, they're so important. They're so important because they're the people that, I mean, think about it. You're guiding you're molding pieces of clay not to be rigid columns, but to continue being pieces of moldable clay, to understand that with each thing they get, each color, you can continue to grow and shape. No form is completely solidified. That's what I think. Anyone else think that tiger, zebra, orangutan, and hyena on a lifeboat sounds like the beginning of a joke? Love that. All right, so the part where Pi's father shows Pi Ravi how dangerous the tigers are. Why do you think that was? I've been not questioning that, I've been thinking about that. Why do you think he thought that was necessary? To me, that part of the book reminds me of the quote he says, I choose not to cling to death. I don't believe in death. I believe in life. I think that was that coming to fruition, being like the life of this tiger, right? The life of this tiger. And then the death of what happens with this goat. The skull, the crossbones is there. We all know it. It's this impending sense of like violence. But Pi still chooses to see the beauty of it and the life of it and continue with it. Yeah, he was nervous. I was scared by that part. Why do I have a pen in my ear? Because I was taking notes. And it's a pencil. It's Star Wars. Huh. All my best teachers were strong women who truly believed in me and saw something in me. Dedication mostly. And they were all very important to me during my school years. I still think about them a lot. About the great teachers I've had, I think about constantly. My acting teachers I had in college, whenever I'm doing anything with that, I feel like they're sitting on my shoulder, kind of using their guidance and being like, remember, we think about things like this. Remember to constantly push yourself. It's cool, like with teachers, you get your own, people that you can check in with. Acid burns ya? Acid burns ya? I love how the parents had no clue Pi was going to these 3 different things during the week for different religions. I loved that part. The fact that he was like, all 16-year-olds have secrets. We all have secrets from our family. I am a practicing Hindu, Christian, Muslim. Okay, about Gaia. You thought the lesson was totally unnecessary. Should we debate that for a bit? Who thinks the lesson that Pi's father was trying to teach them was unnecessary? Who thought it was necessary? And please give your answers. I'm going to keep reading questions while reading comments while those answers come in. English teacher, yeah. No, I don't know if I could. I'm not smart enough for that. I'm not sure about this, but I thought the tiger was like a symbol. It's like something that threatens death, like a trial for Pi to go through. Not surely, I have to keep reading. Awesome, tiger's like a symbol. I think it definitely is a symbol. But I think that will be revealed later. I've been doing a lot of research, so like some things have gotten spoiled for me, so I'm going to keep going on that thought. Miliria, I can't pronounce that, I'm so sorry, but keep going on that thought. I think it's a great idea. One of the best teachers I ever had wasn't even an actual teacher at all. It was my dad. Your parents are your first teachers. Think about it. They're the ones that teach you language, the people that raise you, the people that teach you about life, culture, who you are. They give you a name. They are. Hold on one second. I think I just got some food. Give me one sec, guys. I'll leave you with some music.
For us in these words, we will be so much more. I know you don't believe that this will last that long. Let me show you that together you and I belong. Now the time you and I, we need to take the chance to make this thing work. The choice is in our hands. It's time for us to live it up.
Woo!
Oh, you'll be my summer love.
Okay, sorry. I ordered food a little bit ago, and it finally got here because it's like lunchtime here. I'm still in contact, and I'm like, oh, cool. I appreciate the teacher appreciation as much as former classroom teacher. Aw. Because maybe he wanted... Okay, so this is now back to... I'm going to start reading answers to the questions about... I'm going to start reading answers to the questions about, do you think that lesson was necessary? Maybe because he wanted to make sure his children knew that humans should be careful with animals, but in showing the true nature of the tiger, also he showed how cruel humans could be. One of the biggest problems, I think, with humans is that we often forget that we're animals in nature. Like, yes, we've become civilized, so to speak. We can read now, and we have the ability to think in depth. But at the end of the day, like Pi says, an animal being pushed to a corner will still react. I think it was necessary for the timeline, and most of all because he needed somehow to introduce the relationship between Richard Parker and Pi. So he first talked about how dangerous the tigers are. Okay, that's a very practical explanation to it. I like that. That I need to introduce these two characters that are going to be, because we've heard Richard Parker a lot, and we've heard Pi a lot. These two characters are going to be dueling back and forth. So interesting. The reason death sticks so closely to life isn't biological necessity, it's envy. Life is so beautiful that death has fallen in love with it, jealous, possessive. I think it's an important lesson, but the dad went about it the wrong way. I think I agree with you. There are most definitely more delicate ways to deal with that. The lesson was important and needed. Children who live near will think they are pets, but they are wild animals. They are. Of the books we've done, this is one I've started to enjoy the most. Oh, awesome! It was necessary for the rest of the book and for the safety of the kids, but it was so scary. I was like the mom. No. I think it's interesting when I don't know how to have a child confront that idea of like mortality, that idea of violence. But then the idea that it's part of nature as well. A tiger has to eat. To me, that's weird. I don't know how I would do that. They could get too wrapped up in the beauty of animals that have become part of the danger. I think it was important, delivered in a drastic way. Okay. I got vitamin water. I mean, not vitamin water. Coconut water. Did you know they used to put these in my trailer on Shadow Hunters? I love these. Let me go back down. I think it was unnecessary because he kind of taught his kids to be scared of bigger animals because they're obviously more scary than the others. But all animals can be cruel. Pi says it too when he talks about the animals in their safe zone. True. I think the tiger's a symbol, so he stands for something he has to fight against to find his true self. So it was more a lesson about life. Ooh. I think his father felt he had a sense for naivete, having grown up with these animals in the zoo, and his father wanted to remind them that they're still aggressive by nature. For men in their culture, it is necessary. It taught Pi the type of man he did not want to be. In a way, it softened his heart rather than hardening it. Interesting. Okay. Maybe the dad did this lesson to remark the difference between people and animals. Okay, possibly. I don't know if he's trying to understand. I think it's necessary foreshadowing how dangerous tigers are. I think Pi and Robbie could get comfortable and confident. Is Stella meowing? Yes. So really quickly, just so you guys know, I got Stella a leash, and I'm trying to take her on walks because she loves being outside. But now she wants to go outside all the time, every minute of every day. So she's always like at the door. Yeah, so that's that. Stella's already been fed. It's 2 p.m. Could you imagine? If his dad wouldn't have showed him the tiger, would he have reacted differently when he saw it on the boat? Maybe. It's a really interesting thing to expose precious kids to less pleasing things in life. It's a thin line and tricky to do. His dad probably didn't know how to do it any other way. That's the other thing. Like, well, how was he taught about it? I don't know. Once the tiger's in the boat, I'm the next goat. Come here. Come here. Let's see if she listens. What else? Okay, so let's keep moving forward through the book. So we had that, and then we had the discussion of the zoo and the whole thing about how zoos are important, and he kind of breaks it down in a very methodical way, and how zoos are created and how it's important to create this environment. And one thing I noticed in him describing this is how much care is given to each animal. Maybe it was to be like an Atticus kind of mind, an Atticus move. You never really understand animals until you consider things from their point of view. Maybe. Can we talk about the memento mori of life? Please break that down. I'm not remembering that right now. I used to think that zoos are not the right place for animals, but totally changed my mind. I agree to an extent. I think if zoos are taken care of in the way that he describes, I completely agree as like beautiful sanctuaries for these animals to live their lives happily. I think, unfortunately, like he describes, the worst predator in a zoo are humans that do stupid things, that have no understanding of life or the beauty of it, that see animals as inferior for some reason and treat them poorly. I agree that that is the problem. But his whole point of view on zoos definitely changed the way I think about them and makes it very interesting. What do you guys think about that? Are you coming? It's more like to show that sometimes life can be unknown shape. The mirror part, I love that. Yeah, I think I've seen that in a zoo, actually. Freedom is relative. That's pretty smart. I mean, that Annie Hansen, that line can even go back to, where is my Handmaid's Tale, freedom is relative. I like going to zoos. The zoo's close to home is nice. However, SeaWorld I can't go to after everything. I don't agree with SeaWorld. I don't. Dolphins and whales should not be in enclosures. But that's my thing. I don't know. I don't know a lot about it, but I feel very bad about those animals. Humankind is the most dangerous species in the world. Can someone pull up the quote about memento mori? Because I can't remember it, and it's actually bothering the heck out of me. I just opened to the part with the three, the imam, the priest, and the, oh my goodness. What is it? A bandit? The pandit. Pandit. I don't know how to say it. But remember, it is a very romantic view of a zoo, Verena Lightwood, you're right. But remember, he does cast shame upon all bad zoo people. He's like, shame on you guys who don't do the proper things for these animals. You know? Let me see. Maybe it'll come up here. Give me a second. That's not it. No. I have a bunch of... Oh. I can't find it. Chapter 1, paragraph starts when you've suffered. Okay, hold on. It's in chapter 1? When you've suffered a great deal in life, each additional pain is both unbearable and trifling. My life is like a memento mori painting from European art. There is always a grinning skull at my side to remind me of the folly of human ambition. I mock this skull. I look at it and I say, "You've got the wrong fellow. You may not believe in life, but I believe in death. But I don't believe in death. Move on." The skull snickers and moves closer, but that doesn't surprise me. The reason death sticks so closely to life isn't a biological necessity, it's envy. Life is so beautiful that death has fallen in love with it. A jealous, possessive love that grabs at what it can. But life leaps over oblivion lightly, losing only a thing or two of no importance, and gloom is but the passing shadow of a cloud. Great. Memento Mori appears in one of my favorite sagas. Oh, that's cool. Trifling means, I'm going to Google it just to give you the right definition. Unimportant, vital, unimportant or trivial. So of little or no importance. Okay, I have to grab Stella because she's clawing at something. Give me a second. Stella! What are you doing? What? You want to go out? You can't go out. Not yet. We have to talk about this book. Ugh. Okay. So then, I love when Pi visits Father Martin. I love the way that Pi was introduced to all of these religions. I think it was super cool. And I love the way that he describes his idea with Christianity, because it is a different way I had never looked at it that way. How he came from like the window of Hinduism, looking at the Christian God, being like, what? I don't understand. It's actually a really great scene in the movie as well. And I think it's just really fun. Sorry, I'm just reading. Interesting to how he sees all religions, and how they all kind of work together, and how he sees the strings, and he sees the connective tissues within religion. And I think it's funny that these three, the priest, the imam, and the pandit, they didn't see that. And I love his answer. Well, why do you do that? Because I love God. Thank you. Chuki Busra. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I apologize. To choose doubt as a philosophy of life is akin to choosing immobility as a means of transportation. I love that. It is true that those we meet can change us, sometimes so profoundly that we are not the same afterwards, even unto our names. That does remind me of Tuesdays with Morrie. This book has a very Tuesdays with Morrie feel because I think of the nature of the fact that it's ostensibly this writer interviewing this man with a story that will make us believe in God. I also think it has elements of, it has elements of a couple of books that we've read, and I think that's pretty cool. Let's keep reading. Do you want to go? I find the dialogues about religion funny. Why? Why funny? The Alchemist. Thank you, Kat Parker. I got really what are we talking about? What are you doing? What are you doing? She's just running around. Also reminds me of The Alchemist, to be honest, because of the way it talks about God and faith. Yankee hat. Okay. Let's see. So we have about 25 minutes left. Rita, if you want to bring up that question again, right now would be a great time. Look at this cat just sneaking away. Oh my goodness. Andrea Whedon? His dad wanted to show Pi that ignorance is deadly. However, Pi saw the beauty rather than the danger. Pi saw the wild as an open door. Wow, that was beautiful. I agree. That's cool. I'm loving this book because it does remind me of Tuesdays with Maury and the way he sees life as something beautiful and full of memories and lessons. Also, I think it brings us to Life of Pi because it's someone that brings us to Tuesdays with Maury because Maury was going through great suffering. And Pi had gone through great suffering. So they were united in this kind of discovery. So, did you get who was Richard Parker the first time we watched the movie? Because I thought it was a person. I thought it was Pi's friend. And I didn't get that the author was interviewing Pi. I thought it was Richard P. meeting Pi after years. I was obviously wrong. No, yeah, it's an author, Yann Martel, interviewing Pi. And I love the way that they bring it up in the book. I thought, it's funny, because I'd watched the movie, and in the book I was like, oh, maybe Richard Parker was a person, and then it happens, the way they did it was awesome. The way they did it was awesome, how it's when the ship is sinking, and then he realizes that he's going to be alone with Richard Parker, and then all of us, as the readers, sitting on our own lifeboat, watching this unfold in front of us, are like, wait, why don't you want Richard Parker on the boat with you now? All of a sudden you're trying to push him away, telling him to drown? What's going on? He gets on the boat, and then he's like, yeah, next thing I know, I had this 450-pound carnivorous tiger, Bengal tiger, adult male Bengal tiger in my boat. And I'm like, yeah, that's not a sustainable lifestyle. To me, that part broke my heart when he was eating with his hands at the restaurant and the guy judged him for it. I felt bad. I thought it was cool that more animals happened to be on the boat. I think that also speaks to the nature of the storm that was happening and going on. Oh, that's a good question. How would I react if I were on this boat? Imagine one of the lifeboats from, the Titanic almost, in a way, if you've seen that movie. But it's covered with, a tarp that they pull back. So I imagine half of it being covered, half of it not. I think the zebra's in the not covered half. And then whatever else is under there, he doesn't know. Pi combined all the religions he studied and all the different philosophies to survive in the world, yet had to understand. I love that so much, yeah. I think it was made on purpose. Giving something a name makes it even more real, like when we give names to our stuffed animals, the way he's always talked to Richard Parker. That's why we all do that. I thought Richard Parker was a person, but when Pi shows the author of the childhood photos, it dawned on me that Parker will be the tiger, and I thought it was nicely done. Oh yeah, when he was like, and that's Richard Parker, even the way he was looking, I thought that was cool too. Honestly, I would have done the same. What do you guys think you would have done being in this position? The same position as Pi? I don't know. I know that I have a deep respect for the ocean because I'm afraid of it. It's so powerful and it scares me. And the things living in it are amazing and beautiful, but still scary as well. So for me, I would not fare as well as I want. I feel like Diego would be fine. Not fine. I mean, it'd be the suffering. He had to deal with living in the ocean for we'll find out how long. But I mean, just being stranded, scared, not knowing what's going to happen next is scary enough. It's the most terrifying and beautiful thing on earth. I think it is the proof of God. I think combining all the religions is weird. Maybe you can do it when you are seeking answers, but you cannot live like that forever. It doesn't make sense. See, I don't know. I think you can. I would combat that argument. I would say I think you can live with multiple religions. They each have traditions that teach you a way to live, but in essence, it's I think when you wind them down enough. I love that the story says that there's a happy ending after meeting the children, right? Saving the tiger because I would be in shock. Can you guys imagine losing his entire family, watching a ship sink, getting stuck in the Pacific with a tiger on board? I can't. I can't swim very well. I would have freaked me. Oh yeah, me too. I would have freaked out. I mean, I would be freaked out. It seems like he hasn't realized he lost his family yet. It's sad. The fact that the guys threw him overboard to be eaten so they survived. I don't think they threw him overboard to be eaten so they survived. I think they were like, he's not safe on the ship. We'll throw him overboard, and then we'll hopefully have the lifeboat and get him, but he's not safe here, and we don't want him running down to go try to find people, because that's not going to be good either. He's 16 years old. He's a kid. I'm just reading all of your comments. I'm pleased the spiders didn't end up with him. Yo, me too. That would have been the worst. Also, I feel bad that he didn't grab any bananas. Hey, don't do that. You know you're not supposed to. No, I thought they threw him over to use the boat. Maybe I misread. Oh, I feel bad for orange juice too. Yeah, I don't think you grabbed any bananas. Yeah, spiders, I would have jumped out of the boat too. Stella, everyone says hi. Look, everyone's saying hi. Well, hello, people. I prefer tiger over spiders any day. Same, though. Same. All right. So we have about like 15 minutes left. So let's really dive into quotes here. I know we've been doing we kind of had a cool talk. This has been a very like all over the place. We kind of talk about things here, then we dive in here. But now it's more towards quotes. If there are any quotes you haven't said yet, you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Stella, you're getting a lot of compliments. It's been a very philosophical live chat. It has. What was my favorite quote? I underlined a couple that I really enjoyed. Okay, give me a sec. Whoop. Okay. I love, I'm going to read, so chapter 25. I'm just going to read chapter 25 to you because it's the whole chapter. I'm going to read just the paragraph that I really like. These people fail to realize that it is on the inside that God must be defended, not the outside. They should direct their anger at themselves. For evil in the open is but evil from within that has been let out. The main battlefield for good is not the open ground of the public arena, but the small clearing of each heart. Meanwhile, the lot of widows and homeless children is very hard, and it is to their defense, not God's, that the self-righteous should rush. I just like that. Evil in the open is but evil from within that has been let out. I read or watched something recently that said kind of the same thing, or I was talking to someone. I don't remember, but the same idea has now presented itself to me a couple times, and that's why I had to underline that specific quote. I'm going to read some of yours, if that's cool. So we have, reason is my prophet, and it tells me that as a watch stops, so we die. It's the end. If the watch doesn't work properly, it must be fixed here and now by us. Better to picture it in your head if you want to feel it. Life is so beautiful that death has fallen in love with it, a jealous, possessive love that grabs at what it can. Hindus, in their capacity for love, are indeed hairless Christians, just as Muslims, in the way they see God in everything, are bearded Hindus, and Christians, in their devotion to God, are hat-wearing Muslims. Is it true that those we meet change us, sometimes so profoundly that we're not the same afterwards, even unto our names? Misery loves company, and madness calls it forth. I think it's telling about his experience afterwards when he says, I chose the sloth because its demeanor, calm, quiet, and introspected, did something to save my shattered self. I love that, my shattered self. What a beautiful image. First, wonder goes deepest. Wonder, after that, fits in the impression made by the first. To me, religion is about our dignity, not our depravity. I love that. Why do people move? What makes them uproot and leave everything they've known for greater unknown beyond the horizon? The answer is the same the world over. People move in the hope of a better life. You must take the life the way it comes at you and make the best of it. People move in hope of a better life. I love that quote, actually. Things didn't turn out the way they're supposed to, but what can you do? You must live life the way it comes at you and make the best of it. Why can't we throw a question? Oh my gosh, yes! The name remains. That's the second one that I underlined because I thought it was so cool. Hold on, I'm going to read that whole section again. I also love the part when his mom wanted to buy cigarettes, even though neither of them smoke. I thought that was like beautiful and touching. Sad. I can't find that quote, but yes. Okay, hold on. You must, when you suffered a great deal, each additional pain is both unbearable and trifling. Great quote. To choose doubt as a philosophy isn't that a great quote? To choose doubt as a philosophy in life is akin to choosing immobility as a means of transportation. When Pi started treating Richard Parker like a person rather than a wild animal, it truly showed me how ignorant humankind really is. Interesting. I think that the cigarettes were metaphorically placed. Tell me, how so? Life will defend itself no matter how small it is. I love that. Whereas before the road, the sea, the trees, the air, the sun all spoke different to me. Now they speak one language of unity. Yes, beautiful. If Christ spent an anguished night in prayer, if he burst out from the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? Then surely we're permitted also to doubt. But we must move on. I love that quote. I think, isn't there that, what is that quote? I know I've brought it up plenty of times. It's the importance of doubt. Let's look it up real quick. Oh no, it's Descartes. In order to determine whether there is anything we can know with certainty, we must first doubt everything we know. All living things contain a measure of madness that moves them in strange, sometimes inexplicable ways. Love that. I agree. I don't type that fast. I was just touching buttons for a little bit. I was like, what do I type? I don't think I typed that fast, guys. That reminds me when Pi speaks about his contempt towards Jesus, the too human God, and he's too interesting for Pi to let it go. Yes. I love that section. I actually I want to go back and reread that section. Let me see something. We went to 119. This book is so good. I agree. This book is really good. Oh my goodness. This is going to be perfect. So, we have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to talk about what don't watch the movie yet. Trust me, just hold out. Only 2 more weeks. So, we're going to read to chapter 80. Chapter 80, page, for me, 221. Is that cool for everyone? So for next week, we will read to page 221 for me, or chapter 80. Don't read through chapter 80. Read to chapter 80. And the next book is... I see somebody asked me, but I don't remember where I put it. Give me 1 second. Haha. All right, so the next book, guys, is Things Fall Apart. So if you guys want to start looking for that, we have a couple of weeks left in Life of Pi. We're going to read to chapter 80, and then the following week, we'll finish the book. So we've got up to page 221 or chapter 80 for Life of Pi. Then we go the next week, and we'll finish the book. Then we jump on to Things Fall Apart, which I am very, 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 very excited. And then we go into The Count of Monte Cristo. As you can see, it is probably the biggest book we will have read in our awesome history of Rosende reads so far. Yeah, for me, it's 618 pages long. So, we've got some good, exciting books coming up next. All right, so, everyone, thank you for your awesome insight into this book. I'm glad that a lot of you are enjoying it. For those of you not enjoying it as much, keep reading. Trust me, just get through it. You'll, if anything, it's another book you've read. Awesome. But then again, not everyone likes every book, and that's totally cool. What else? So yes, Life of Pi. Keep enjoying it. I'm loving it as well. You don't like Dumas? Why not? I think he's great. Oh my goodness, the French edition is 1,400 pages. Sorry. The next Catch-22? No, it's not. It is a great book, and we will make it fun. Trust me. And the movie's also really good as well. What else? I need to get a bookshelf. I think it looks cool, but I don't like all the books on the ground here. Is Tessa going to join us next time? I'm not sure. Hopefully. That'd be cool. She really likes this book, too. She hasn't been able to keep up as much with the reading on this book. She's been very busy. But we'll see. Oh, my goodness. 2 minutes left. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for this week. I will see you next Sunday. I will tell you the time, probably the night before. Keep questioning, keep exploring, keep being curious, and keep being positive forces of change in your communities. Have a great weekend. Have a great Sunday. Get ready for school tomorrow. That's about it. Have a good one, guys. I will see you guys next week. Remember, up to chapter 80. Chapter 80. If you guys want to tweet that, that would be dope. But until then, I will see you guys next time. Peace. Oh, God, I didn't end it. Okay, bye, guys.